Hello everyone, today I will be going over chapters 3, 4, and 5 in the Reinventing Project-Based book by Susie Boss and Jane Cross to discuss how project-based learning is positively affecting the way teachers teach their students and to demonstrate the steps we can take as students to better create and understand curriculum through project-based learning. Chapter 3, Imagining the Possibilities. In Chapter 3, we will be discussing project-based learning and the first step to project planning by discovering the central concepts you need in order to create a project. So the main question we may ask ourselves before planning a project is, what big ideas, core concepts, or processes should your students' project reflect? Or what is the big picture your students are trying to achieve through creating a project? First, it is important as a teacher to know how different styles of teaching can improve students' teaching. With teaching from published curriculum being one effective way, it only expands the student's knowledge from what the textbook allows. However, with creating a project through project-based learning, students take on a more contextual and visual way of learning the curriculum. Instead of learning through the textbooks, students are able to research through technology about the topic and use different resources for their projects. When creating a project, you should first figure out what the big idea for the project is and what you learn from it after. What type of skills or habits of mind will be developed with the project? One way to make project planning easier on students is to create a wiki page that allows students to organize their thinking through editing their content online. Chapter 4, Strategies for Discovery. This chapter focuses on selecting and designing projects and whether you decide to adopt a previous made project plan or create your own. If you do decide to adopt ideas from other projects, you should be aware of the pitfalls that are associated with the projects. One pitfall students can come across when observing other projects is when they include too many activities and not enough information about the actual subject they are presenting. It is best to avoid viewing these type of projects. The type of projects that are too long and busy with more activities than the curriculum are not worth looking over. Another example of a pitfall is when the project has too many discrete steps. When you have a project that has too many discrete steps, it may lead to predictable results, which is what you should avoid in your own project. Instead, look for projects that compare and contrast, examines what changes over time, or how it looks at different points of views. Chapter 5, Making Assessment Meaningful. Project-based learning has two purposes for teachers: measuring student learning in a summative way and evaluating the quality of the project so it can be better next time. With project-based learning comes authentic assessment. Authentic assessment sets up the stage for students not meeting but exceeding the academic expectations for projects. There are two ways teachers can assess their students' projects. One way is through formative assessment. Formative assessment helps when teachers assess their student projects along the way. When going through the project, it gives teachers an idea of the student's thinking in order to adjust the project while also fixing any misunderstandings the student might have. And the second assessment is called summative assessment. Summative assessment is when teachers assess their students' understanding at the end of the project. This means that teachers will also grade their students with a rubric or a test. By the end of the project, teachers should look for three main functions from their students' project. At the beginning, students should have reflected with an objective, asking themselves, what will other students have learned through their project? Followed by backing up their project with evidence. What would they need to demonstrate to show they learned? And lastly, activities. What approaches might they take to go from not knowing to knowing?